So that brings us to March 2004.
Yeah.
I liked this month. Because we'll talk about the reasons I liked this month, but I think the main one is that they know they're getting on TV soon and seem to be actively, consciously building out the parts of the product that were underdeveloped. And you can kind of feel that this month.
I don't like the first half of this month, but the second half I really liked. My big thing with like towards the end of this month that I really liked was it felt like we were getting all the stars on TV. Like we had AJ, we had Ron Killings getting pushed, we had Raven back in there, Abyss, Sting, Jarrett, and like Jarrett was kind of like in a really good role too because he wasn't like overused either.
Because he was barely on the show for the back half of the month.
But I thought he was good whenever he was. They did that video package of him in Mexico, and they had like the post video package promo that he did from a gym, and I thought he was awesome in that promo. Selling as like this vet who's been there, done that, and he like isn't gonna let all these punks come up and get him. I thought that was a really good promo from him, and I really liked him towards the end of the month too. The tag tournament I thought was really great. Yeah, I liked that. You can tell when TNA is good by how good the mid card is, because sometimes when TNA is really bad, the mid card is like some of the worst wrestling you'll ever experience. Not because the wrestling's bad, but because it's so dull.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Yeah, it's just a drag through the whole thing. But like this one, with like, it's funny, I was really going to give them credit on the last month. I was like, man, they have trimmed the fat completely on this show. I was like, it's all stars doing star stuff. And then like it got around to the tag.
Apollo and Siaki and Diamond and Young and all these people thrown in the same match.
And, like, if you take Douglas and Shane out of that, because I actually think they've been really good this month, you'd have my problem with the show.
Thank you for finally accepting that David Young is bad.
I like his character, but, like, I just don't care about anything else. I'm sick of Siaki. I like Simon Diamond, but, like, he should be the bare minimum of these guys. Douglas and Shane have been great. Gilberti and Young, I'm over. D'Lo, I'm over. Apollo, never want him on this show. I don't know why he's here. Like, why we're still trying the Apollo thing. But yeah, it's just if these guys were like picked and used better, and some of them were gone, TNA would be firing on all cylinders right now, and I would love it because I was looking at it, I was like, man, Sabu's doing mid card stuff, and it's great. Like the mid card's like actually been built up. The Monty Brown stuff is really cool at the moment. I liked the tag division in the tag tournament. I thought bringing back Slash and Sin was great. Bringing back Key and Daniels was really cool. Dallas is getting introduced. You know what, Garrett? I like the Naturals.
Well, they had good matches. See, they put them in there with good teams and allowed them to have good matches, and suddenly you're like, hey, they're good wrestlers.
They brought back Amazing Red, obviously. Frankie Kazarian got back too, and it felt like they're really like amping things up. And of course, the biggest story of the month is by the end of this month, I'm like, damn, this Chris Harris elevation feels like it's actually achieved something. This dude feels great. Like he was kind of like that fiery like white meat babyface promo backstage with when Storm had been like on suspension for the week, and I was like, damn, yeah, this guy feels like a guy too. It feels like we have a more defined main event scene in TNA for the first time, because it feels like Abyss is there, it feels like AJ's there, it feels like Raven's there, it feels like Ron Killings is there, it feels like Chris Harris there, and it feels like Jeff Jarrett's there.
Yeah, I think that's kind of true of all the divisions. That's what I mean by like they're filling out the underdeveloped parts of the show. So they do have, as you said, a defined main event scene for the first time with multiple challengers. It's not just, Disco and Raven this month. It's not just nobody for long periods. The whole story of this month is like number one contenders wars. There's this whole battle to become number one contender between, as you mentioned, Styles, Abyss, Raven, Harris, Killings, and Jarrett being champion. And through the whole month, those people are jockeying and battling to become number one contenders, which makes the title feel important because there's a lot of people that want it. And then they bring back a lot of people in the X division. They bring back Kazarian, they bring back Amazing Red, they refocus it on like being in the main event spot. Obviously, Chris Sabin gets injured, which is unfortunate this month.
We really forgot to mention too is the X Cup is in there this whole time too, which is a great like mid card story too.
There's a bunch of X Cup stuff that run through all these shows, and it's a consistent story through these shows. They don't just make it a thing that pops up once a month. They actually make it a thing that runs through the shows. And you get the tag division where they I think consciously realize we've neglected the tag division for a while with the AJ Styles and Abyss stuff. Lex Luger was probably meant to win the tag titles this month, but he wanted too much money. So they're like, all right, we need to rebuild that division as well. You have the teams you don't like, as you mentioned, but they did bring back Slash and Sin for a while. They did bring back Triple X for a while.
You know what it is too? I can handle BG James and Conan if Ron Killings is getting pushed.
Mm.
When he's lumped in with them, it feels like a waste. But I don't mind them as like a mid-card tag act if you also have Ron Killings being pushed as a guy.
Yeah. So they have fleshed out all of these divisions to be actual divisions. There's now depth in all 3 divisions this month. Whether that sustains, we'll see. But like there's a lot, like when you have Sabu and Monty feuding, Monty returns, by the way, we'll talk about that. But when you have those 2 feuding, and that's like below the 6 people that the main event scene rotates around, that gives you depth. That's like, all right, you have Styles Killings, Abyss, Raven, and Harris all feuding for number one contendership. But then even below that, you have Monty and Sabu in a heavyweight feud as well. So there's just depth everywhere. And I do think like that's a conscious thing. It's like, we're getting on TV soon, which they are. They know that at this stage. We need depth. We need like compelling divisions.
It definitely feels like there has been an effort to round out the show better.
Mm.
And I think that's a big sign, and mentioning that like the Monty Sabu feud, which doesn't feel like it's like a big thing, but it's actually quite a big deal for this company, because normally whenever there's a feud between 2 heavyweight guys, it always just ends up becoming a part of a Jarrett thing or a part of a Russo thing. Like, they never actually get to be their own thing for very long. So having just a Monty angle, which started as, part of the New York connection stuff, but it's like, whatever. Now he's kind of spread off into his own thing. That's more of just a way to reintroduce him. I think that's a really cool touch. And just having something like that really shows that level of depth.